What's up, YouTube? This is Shabazz, and today I'm here to answer some questions for you. What's up to all my connoisseurs? Hope you're staying healthy, hope you're staying safe. Welcome back to another video. And today we're not doing a review. Today I'm gonna answer all the questions that y'all submitted to me. Since we hit 3,000 subscribers, I just felt this was kind of appropriate, so maybe you could get to know me a little bit more and have some open discussion besides whether or not I like what I'm smoking at the time. So if you haven't already, pause the video, roll something up, get a bowl packed, smoke with me while I answer these questions. What I got here is a hemp wrap, actually a hemp wrap cone filled with some indoor indica in the front and some outdoor indica in the back. Now here's a little secret for you. If you smoke hemp wraps, hemp blunts, or king size joints, if you mix two different strains, I don't mean mix the ground flower together, but you put one strain in one half and another strain in the other half. Those two different strains, they're terpenes and cannabinoids combined together for an even stronger entourage effect and a way stronger buzz than you would get from just smoking one strain by itself.
Message!
All right, first question. Mother Nature asked, when an unknown new strain or vendor suddenly blows up on Reddit, do you have certain criteria or how do you know to buy or not? Because stuff sells out immediately, and also do you think the second round grows are usually as good as the one if you have to wait? Or is it just a crapshoot? Okay, well, to answer this question, basically, if I'm gonna jump on something immediately when it's hyped up and everything, I generally base that on genetics, quality, or price. If it's something new, a new strain, for example, that Banana Mac, which unfortunately is high THCA, so that's not my style. But if there's a new CBD cross that's out there, I am excited to get it. I want to get it before it runs out. Let's just say somebody takes a very common outdoor strain like Legendary OG, and they grow it indoor, hydro, living soil, which is way better quality than what's ever been available. I'll hop on that. Or if it's just something that's a really good deal that I can't pass up, and if it's being hyped up, I'll hop on that too, just so I can give everybody else my opinions. Okay, Ninja Ghost, I see you, bro. Every video, you're in the comments. So what's the best tasting flower you've had thus far? I believe the Cherry Haze from Mountain Flowers Hemp had the most pleasant, sweetest, strongest non-hempy flavor that I've had. Ildiko Nemeth said, hey man, I just wanted to know how often you dose your CBD flower. I'm going through roughly 1 to 2 grams daily, but I've noticed I don't get as much effects as I did the first month of starting. Tolerance, perhaps. That just depends. It depends on how I feel that day. It also depends where I'm at. Honestly, being here at home, sitting at my desk, working, I don't smoke that much. I usually smoke a lot when I go out, when I drive around. I usually roll up a blunt or a joint to go drive, go to the store and do whatever. I just went on vacation for 2 weeks and I smoked about 2 ounces in those 2 weeks. Well, I shared it with my brother, but you know, that's puffing all day, every day, but that's not the norm. Usually a joint or a blunt or 2 a day. I honestly don't smoke too much on a daily basis. Own It Suge on Reddit asked, what are some of your favorite sativa strains or recommendations for energy, uplift, daytime use? A lot of people ask, what's your favorite indica? What's your favorite sativa? There aren't that many true sativa strains in the hemp world, which is crazy because obviously like industrial hemp is like pure sativa landrace flower for the most part. But just as far as uplifting daytime use, I think a good indoor Suver Haze is probably one of the best, most purest sativa feeling strains that I've had. I know it's Oregon CBD, it's played out, but if you get a good quality indoor Suver Haze, I don't think you'll be disappointed right there. Rubicon Chill asked, what is your opinion on hemp smalls versus large buds? I think smalls are great. If they're being sold for 2/3 price, 3/4 of the price, half the price of normal size buds, and you're getting a similar quality, it's just not big size show buds, I don't think there's a reason not to get it. For my personal use, I'll always go for some smalls if it's available. A lot of people believe in the myth that small buds are just the buds that grow on the lower parts of the plant, which some of them are, but that's not entirely true. A lot of smalls are pieces of bigger buds that broke off and just fell to the bottom of the jars or the bottom of the bags. And when vendors or growers or whatever finish selling off all those big main buds and they have all this popcorn and small buds at the bottom of the bag, they throw that in with the smalls. So a lot of it is just pieces of the full size buds. So if you're worried about not getting the full effects, that's not always a concern of mine. Stepdaddy82 on Reddit said, what's your favorite breakfast food? That's gonna be a tie between like a turkey sausage, scrambled eggs, and waffles meal, and soy, beef chorizo, some type of breakfast meal made out of that, whether it be tacos, breakfast burritos, whatever it is. I really like chorizo. No pork though. So yeah, it's a toss up between either one of those. I really love those two breakfasts. Too High to Play on Reddit said, what's your take on outdoor versus indoor? I've gone over this a lot on Reddit, on YouTube. When it comes to hemp flower, I do prefer indoor, and I will always try to get indoor if it's available over outdoor, simply because the fact that hemp genetics are young, they're not very stable, they're immature, they don't have a lot of the good traits that marijuana has been breeding for generations now. So outdoor hemp flower is generally always just not that great. You know, as compared to marijuana, you can get outdoor marijuana that is indistinguishable from indoor. Here in California where I live, you could go get outdoor weed that looks just as good as the bombest indoor hemp flower. So when it comes to hemp, I like indoor. I just, you know, it has a better smell, appearance, just overall quality. The effects might not be any better, but I just like it. I like the fact that it smells better, it's less harsh, it looks better. But if we're talking just weed in general, there's great outdoor and there's great indoor. The problem is just hemp genetics still suck. As far as effects go, indoor versus outdoor, once again, there's no real difference with hemp. With marijuana, high THC, generally indoor hemp flower is definitely more potent just because you're growing it in a perfect condition. The plant puts all its energy into cannabinoid production instead of surviving elements. But with hemp flower, because you're dealing with such low THC and such high CBD, even if your CBD is 4 or 5% more than outdoor flower is in general, you're really not gonna feel any different effects. With hemp flower, indoor versus outdoor is purely a matter of what kind of bag appeal, taste, flavor, appearance do you like more. Yo, what's up? So this question I accidentally missed when I filmed the video. I noticed it while I was editing. Pulehu on Reddit asked me, what is your favorite snack to enjoy after combusting the cannabis flower? That's a really good question. I had to make sure I answer this. I love Lunchables, the little nacho Lunchables. I love Go-Gurts. Those are always fire when you got a buzz going on. Nature Valley granola bars also hit the spot, as well as ranch wheat thins and chicken and a biscuit crackers. Okay, Carolyn said, my question is, how do you feel about the vape ban? Okay, now the vape industry and the tobacco industry, this is a subject I feel very strongly on. Basically, we're not even gonna talk about the cannabis vape thing because the biggest user base by far when it comes to vaping is people who are vaping nicotine, e-juice. No matter what studies that you've read that have been sponsored by big tobacco and this and that, vaping is 100% healthier for you than smoking. Smoking cigarettes will kill you. It will give you cancer. It will shorten your lifespan. It's gross, it stinks, and it's super expensive. Vaping is cheap. It doesn't stink. It doesn't leave any lingering flavor. It doesn't leave any lingering odors on you or your surroundings. It does not cause cancer, bronchitis, emphysema. It's not shortening your lifespan. The reason why there are parties out there that are trying so hard to ban vaping products and to sabotage the vaping industry is because if everybody starts vaping and realizes that they can keep going with their nicotine addiction without killing themselves, the tobacco industry will be ruined. Now, big tobacco can't have that, so they're doing everything in their power to sabotage the vape industry, and this whole vape ban is part of that. I promise you, if you look really deeply into it, big tobacco is involved in the vape ban somehow, some way. It's the same way that Big Pharma wants to keep cannabis illegal. It's gonna cut into their profits, it's gonna cost them a lot of money. All right, insert tag here says, do you have any CBD strains that you really enjoy that don't seem to get the spotlight, mainstream popularity in the CBD community? That's a good question, and that's something that I need to think about. Probably should have pre-written these answers before I did this video. I think I'm gonna go ahead and say some strains that I really enjoy are the strains like the Canasu, Sour Tsunami, Harlequin, AC/DC, all of the original high CBD strains that existed but were very hard to find before the whole hemp flower thing. I just think that a lot of those strains get completely overlooked. We're so flooded with the Oregon CBDs and the Bubba Kushes and the this and the that a lot of people don't realize that before the Farm Bill and hemp flower was a thing, There were people like me that already smoked high CBD, low THC strains, and there was only 4 or 5 of them that you could get, and they were really hard to find. Nobody seems to care about those strains anymore because we have all these new genetics. Those strains, like Harlequin in particular, are really good and really need to be more mainstream in the hemp community. Like I said, I was smoking those before the Farm Bill, before smokable hemp thing came out, and that was still considered marijuana. That was just high CBD marijuana. Of course, today that is legally defined as hemp, but you know, I gotta acknowledge those strains that I was smoking before. All right, Mazzy Versetti said, what strain would you recommend to somebody just getting into CBD? So that's a really good question. And I'll say, if you want a heavy indica, because a lot of people just prefer indicas. If you like indicas, you prefer indicas, you're a marijuana smoker, you're just getting into CBD, you like indicas, go for a good Bubba Kush. There's some good outdoor Bubba Kush out there. There's definitely some good indoor Bubba Kush. It's widely available. It's a trusted, proven strain. Go for the Bubba Kush. If you're not an indica person, Sour Space Candy. As played out as it is, Sour Space Candy is a great all-around strain. It has a good terpene profile, it has a good look, it smells good, and it has good hybrid effects. And I think it's just a great representation of what hemp flower is. All right, El Chulo 13 AGT, I see you a lot too, said, what's your ethnicity? You know, from time to time, I see people in the comments talking about, I look like this, I look like that. Somebody said, I look like Sinbad's son. That's a good one. I'm actually black, white, and Native American. My dad is primarily black. My mom is primarily white, but they both have a little bit of Native American mixed in with them. So I'm basically those 3 things. All right, John Aquilius, I don't know. He said, what do you do for a living? So I'm actually a professional tattoo artist, and I'm also a professional photographer. Those are my 2 main jobs. I also do other things like graphic design. I do freelance writing on the side. I'm starting to get a lot more into crypto and stocks. He also said, why do you personally use CBD? What does it do for you? Well, the answer to that is very simple. I love cannabis. I have always loved cannabis. I've always grown cannabis, distributed cannabis, been in the cannabis world 100%. But because I do not do well with THC, I have never been able to enjoy cannabis like everybody else around me. I've been able to enjoy it by looking at it, smelling it, understanding the science of it, the history of it. But as far as actually using it, I haven't been able to really enjoy using it up until now. He also says, who is your all-time favorite vendor? I don't know. I can't even answer that. And that's not because I'm afraid of pissing anybody off or being biased or anything. I don't have any vendor that I really love more than anybody else. All vendors have their flaws. Some vendors have an awesome price, but their product is, it's just outdoor. Some vendors have awesome product, but their prices are too high. Some of them sell Delta 8 as well as CBD, which, it's too hard to say, Ask me that again in like a year or 2 and I might say, look, through everything, this one vendor has remained true, genuine, price is good, flower's good. That's my favorite vendor all time. But right now, I genuinely cannot answer that. He also said, what is your all-time favorite strain? Once again, can't answer that. I guess it'd probably be Sour Space Candy, Bubba Kush, Abigus Diesel. Those are 3 that I really enjoy, but I don't have one singular all-time favorite strain of hemp flower. Like I said, maybe in a couple years as these genetics get stabilized and we see some, really good forerunners, I might have a good favorite then. But right now, I don't know. It's too hard to answer. Solar Moon 33 asked, when you used to smoke weed, what were your favorite strains and terpene profiles? So yeah, when I was younger, I did used to smoke weed. And by younger, I mean as a teenager and in my late 20s. I used to smoke weed. When I was a teenager, I could like smoke and get super, super stoned and faded and sit there and giggle and laugh and be stupid. As I got older, I started having the anxiety and panic a lot more, but I was still able to smoke a little bit, especially if I was drinking or something. I could handle a few hits off of a blunt and still have a good time. I've dealt with so many strains, it's a hard one. One strain that always stands out to me a lot is SFV OG, San Fernando Valley OG. Every time I smoked that strain, I had a relatively good experience with it. So I guess you could say I have some fond memories and fond feelings towards SFV OG. As far as terpene profiles, I'm from Southern California, and here we really like that skunky, gassy, minty profile, that really, really good, high quality flower has. I have yet to really smell that in any type of hemp flower. The closest that has come to that has been the original Abacus diesel, like the one that Hemp Hop and Texas Hemp Culture had like way back, not the new stuff that's available today. Indoor Bubba Kush has a bit of that. Orange Mist from Urban Days has a bit of that. And most recently, a strain that I've smelled that has that kind of smell is Banana Mac. If you don't come from the high-end marijuana world, you might not know what that smell is, or maybe you do. That smell is hard to explain. It's not a particularly cushy smell. It's not particularly gassy, skunky. It's just a combination of different things that really high quality marijuana has. Kind of like this base level of terpenes. And then, you know, they have their berries and citrus smells and kush smells and OG smells that just kind of layer on top of that. But that terpene profile, which, you know, I couldn't tell you exactly what combination of terpenes makes that, but that's what I love. What medical effects do you enjoy most from CBD flower? It helps me with my insomnia. I get headaches a lot from like lack of sleep and stuff. CBG flower really helps me out with my headaches, also with stress. I live a high stress life, and sometimes a bowl or half a joint of some hemp flower just really calms me down. What improvements are you most excited about in the CBD flower industry in the short or long term? Better genetics, more experienced growers. Those two things. As we go on short and long term, we're gonna have better genetics. We're gonna have more THC strains being back crossed and inbred and everything and made into high CBD phenos. And the growers that we have, these people that have already now been growing for 2, 3, 4 years, they're getting more experienced, hopefully changing things up and improving the quality of the flower that they're already growing. Okay, Sam LeMay said, could you post a list of your top 3 favorite strains of each type? I'm guessing each type meaning like sativa, indica, hybrid. That's a really hard one. Hemp flower is still very like poly hybrid. Everything's kind of mixed together. Indica, definitely Bubba Kush, strawberry cake, and probably one of the Abacus, purple Urkel, purple Kush phenotypes, that whole purple Abacus family. Good indica stuff right there. Sativa's really hard once again. Suver Haze is a good one. Sativa leaning phenos of Sour Space Candy. The Sativa phenotype of T1, the T1 Trump, was really good. And as far as hybrids, man, you know, Abacus Diesel, definitely. Sour Space Candy is, you know, so far one of my favorite hybrid hemp strains. You know, once again, that's a hard one to handle because most hemp is just straight hybrid stuff. Okay, the Top Waves asked, what is your all-time most potent indica that's not available anymore? You know, the most potent indicas, they're all still available. You know, as far as I can remember, as much as I'm thinking, you know, Bubba Kush, Legendary OG, Hempress, I think those 3 are probably the most potent, and those 3 are all available. I don't think there's any really potent indica that I can remember that you can't get anymore. He also said, have you ever tried a strain that provides any type of euphoria? I know I have off the top of my head, or even really sitting and thinking about it. I couldn't answer that. You'd honestly have to go back through my reviews and watch. I'm pretty sure there's been 1 or 2 that, you know, really made me feel giddy and euphoric. Once again, though, I've gone through so much hemp, tried so much, I honestly don't remember what that is. Good question here. Do you find lower CBD strains to be more potent than higher CBD, assuming the THC is same for both? I have found that to be the case sometimes. It seems to me if you have 2 strains, they each have, say, 0.50% total THC, but one strain has 9% CBD, the other strain has 16% CBD. I have found that a lot of times the strain with the lower percent of CBD has more potent effects simply because, and I've talked about this in my video, there's less CBD to fight off the amount of THC that's in there. Another good question, as a fellow sufferer of OCD to a degree and anxiety, do you currently take any medications, or do you truly find hemp flower to be the only medicine you need to keep you medicated for these conditions throughout the day? That's a really good question. I'm not on any type of medications. I've been on antidepressants before. That was awful. Don't recommend it. SSRIs, don't do it. Aside from that though, I'm not on any medications. I don't hardly ever drink. I don't do any type of drugs. I do find hemp flower to be very helpful, but also I just make sure I stay busy. I have a lot of hobbies. I have a lot of stuff going on with work. I really enjoy playing PC games, I enjoy reading, learning. Most of all, I get a lot of joy out of being a parent, and that really helps me feel a lot better about everything. This is a pretty long question. How potent do you think hemp flower can actually get eventually? Not much more than it is now. I mean, as long as it's 0.30% THC, and even if you get up to like 30% CBD, there's only so far that you could get with that amount of THC and then terpenes and CBD. I don't think that hemp flower will ever really get any more potent than it is now. You mentioned that hemp is in its infancy, and what does getting better hemp in the future mean? And then you say, is it solely taste and smell or also better effects? Possibly, and going into your final part of that, possibly more isolated effects like more straight sativas, more straight indicas, but really hemp getting better just means better genetics, which means more stable flower, better yields, more mold resistant, better nug structure, better smell, better appearance, better taste. As far as effects though, once again, we can't really go any further with the effects. All right, I believe that's all the posted questions. This video ended up being way longer than I thought it would be. I hope I answered your questions to the best of my ability. If you see this video and you have some more questions that you would like answered, go ahead and leave those in the comments. I'll answer them. I probably won't do another one of these for a few thousand more subscribers, so don't expect another video like this anytime soon. We'll be back to our normal reviews. But thank y'all so much for getting me to 3K. We're heading straight for 4K. Can't wait to hit that 5K. Eventually, can't wait to hit that 10K. I know it's gonna come eventually. Make sure you check out that merch, link down in the description. Also check out my IG, which is here, down in the description as well. I'm not gonna go through my regular thing. You already know, hit like, comment, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Man, thank y'all for watching though. I love the Can of Sewer fam. Thanks for rocking with me the long way, man. And I hope y'all have a great day or night, whatever time it is that you're watching this, man. Stay tuned for the next video. Peace.
Alright, boom. So look, I'm outside enjoying my afternoon smoke session, right? And I see these two dusty ass love bugs there getting it on in front of my crib. And the way son going at it look like he's shooting an amateur film. A Bug's Life, New York City edition.